What's the best time for your accounting staff in the Philippines to work? This is, of course, one of the first questions people have when considering hiring staff in the Philippines. My name is Isaac Smith. I'm the founder of TeamUp, and we help accountants hire top-tier Filipino accounting staff without any ongoing BPO fees. All right, in this video, we're going to get right into the million-dollar question about time zones and working hours. The short answer is there is no one right answer, no one-size-fits-all that works for everybody. But I'm going to give you 4 options to consider, and then I'll give you some commentary on them. All right, in order of desirability for the candidates. Number 1, of course, as you might imagine, is flexible. A flexible schedule. Everybody wants a flexible schedule. Who wouldn't want to choose their own hours? With a flexible schedule, of course, you will need to build in some overlap time, right? I'll get into some details in a minute. Number 2 is their day shift, right? As you could imagine, working during what they call normal people time is desirable. And if you're in North America, that would be our nighttime. Number 3 is the mid shift, and that would be in the afternoon through the evening. So maybe 2 to 10 p.m. or noon to 8 p.m. or whatever, sometime around then. That would be their third most desired option. Fourth and last is the night shift. And of course, if you're in the US, this is US business hours. But interestingly, there is a fairly large number of people who are willing and interested in this shift. If I had to guess, I would say that it's somewhere between 20 to 40% of potential candidates out there. Now, you might wonder, why would somebody want night shift? I can tell you, after having been on many interviews with lots of people and being surprised that they would ask for the night shift. And of course, if somebody says, I want to work at night, I'm going to ask why. And oftentimes, these are moms who their only peace and quiet is at night, where they can really focus and get work done. Now, you might imagine my very next question is, well, when do you sleep? And believe me, these accountants have that answer. They've figured it out. And so usually if they're moms, they'll say, I sleep between this time and that time, and it's usually after they drop the kids off at school or whatever. But in any case, they've got it figured out. And hey, if that's what you want, I guess that's fine with me, right? So let's get into a little bit of nuance in these options. Let's talk about overlapping hours. Now, if you're in Australia, right, you're pretty close to their time zone anyway, so this isn't really a big deal for you, right? But if you're in the US or the UK, it gets a little bit more challenging. So my recommendation is to aim to have at least 2 hours every day of overlap in your working schedules. So 2 hours is good enough to get whatever it is that you need done, right? And I'll give you a little bit more information in a minute, but 2 hours with overlap on your time is great. I would suggest to aim for 4 hours. So if you're going to offer someone a flexible schedule, have 4 hours fixed and then the other 4 hours flexible. Because here's something to think about. While you may only need 1 to 2 hours of overlap for them and you, right? If you have a growing team in the Philippines, you're going to hire more people. They will also need to coordinate and talk to each other and meet. So if everybody's schedule is flexible and there is only 1 or 2 hours that everybody's working at the same time, that's not going to be enough for them to meet in addition to you meeting with them. So having 4 hours is good, right? They can have their meetings. They can figure out whatever they need to figure out on their own time, right? And then they can choose their own hours. For me, I'm on Pacific time here on the West Coast. Now, it works really great for me. I've chosen option 2, which is their daytime. So For example here, my 5 p.m. is their 8 a.m., at least in the summer. So if they start their day at 7 or 8 a.m., that's going to give us 2 to 3 hours of overlap, and that's really all we need. If you're on Eastern time, it gets a little bit trickier because they're exactly 12 hours opposite of their time. So of course, if it's 8 a.m. for you, it's 8 p.m. for them. Now, going back to what I said, getting 4 hours scheduled at least is great. So what you could do is you could have a fixed schedule. You could have them work the swing shift, or you could choose 4 of your morning hours and have that be dedicated. So let's say if you wanted to just say 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. your time, that would be 8 a.m. to their midnight, right? So they could work all afternoon until midnight, or they could work those 4 hours and then choose other hours throughout the day. But yeah, so exactly what hours they start, and you'll have to choose whatever works for you and them, right? So let me talk about just for a minute why I think 2 hours is good enough. Because you might say, like, 2 hours? If I only have 2 hours with them, how are we going to get anything done? And yeah, I'll be honest, at the very beginning, during training, sometimes you're going to wish you had more time. But realistically, most of the time, you're going to give them something, you're going to give them some training and some work to do, and you'll want to check in with them later. So even though every now and then you'll wish you had more time, it's usually fine. But there's a hidden benefit in having just a couple of hours of overlap. And that is that it doesn't allow you to micromanage them. 2 hours gives you just the right mix of autonomy and collaboration. And in my experience, it makes us focused, right? So if they need my help, if I need to train them on something, or if I need them for something, I know that I only have these hours, so I better organize my work. They better organize their questions so that they can get their questions answered when they have me. So yeah, I think it's great. So that's it. There's no one right answer, but I hope these options have given you some insight. And if you need any help, here's a tool that I use a lot. It's a free tool. It's great. It's called World Time Buddy. It's just worldtimebuddy.com. And especially if you start getting into having 3 or more time zones to coordinate, it just makes this all really easy. You can choose your times and cities, and you can see which hours line up for everybody. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. You can leave a comment below, or you can reach out. At TeamUp, we help accountants and bookkeepers hire directly. We recruit the best talent in the Philippines for a flat fee, and there are no ongoing fees if you work with us because it's your team. And if you need help with payroll and compliance, we can connect you with an employer of record. All right, if you want to learn more about hiring in the Philippines, see our website. That's hireteamup.com. We've got a lot of great resources over there. And please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We're always happy to help. Thanks.